Brad Crosby is a teacher from Cole Harbour who will be biking 4,500 kilometers through backcountry. He will be doing this by taking part in the Tour Divided Challenge, an unsupported mountain bike race from Banff, Alberta to Antelope Wells, New Mexico. With no ease of pavement, the route spans a multitude of terrain, from the Canadian Rockies to the Badlands of New Mexico. Brad starts the challenge on June 14th and plans to finish within 30 days, all while raising money and awareness towards the Children's Wish Foundation and Autism Nova Scotia. Seaside FM's Tyler Mudford spoke with Brad Crosby about his adventure for two great causes.
We have a story on a man who is taking on quite the endeavor in support of charity. With us here today is Brad Crosby. He's a physical education teacher for the Halifax Regional School Board, an assistant coach for the Dalhousie University men's hockey team, president of Newbridge Academy Gladiators Major Midget Hockey Club, director of Over the Edges hockey program, and as well, on top of all that, he's a husband and father of 4. How are you today?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, I understand that you have taken up the challenge to mountain bike cross-continental, starting in Banff, Alberta, and ending in New Mexico, which is 4,418 kilometers. When did this all start? Why are you biking this distance?
Well, I happened to watch a clip on the YouTube about the Tour Divide, and it's called Ride the Divide, about 2 years ago, and it appealed to me ever since. I've been doing long-distance endurance events for a number of years now with Ironman triathlon and things like that, and I happened to come across this, and it looked like something that is pretty challenging.
I guess, because from what I understand, not only is it horizontally 4,418 kilometers, but vertically it's 200,000 feet, which is equivalent to summiting Mount Everest from sea level 7 times.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty entertaining. A lot of up and downs, and 80% of it is through the wilderness as well, either on single track or gravel roads, up and down the mountains, in the trees, running from bears and wildlife, and sleeping on the side of the trail and finding food where you can.
That sounds like quite the adventure. So why are you doing this? What is the benefit for you, and what is the benefit for the charities?
Well, I think number one for me, it's a personal challenge. My wife likes to say it's a midlife crisis thing, but that's not the case. I just like personal challenge, physical and mental challenges, and this is just another one of those ones that it's probably the most extreme endeavor I've ever gone through or will ever go through. It's quite the trek, starting in Banff to the Mexican border, and on top of that, I'm doing it for a couple charities as well, which is the Children's Wish Foundation here in Nova Scotia and Autism Nova Scotia.
Excellent. And how are you raising money for those charities and doing this bike ride?
Well, when I first started to put it together, I thought if I could get 1 cent per mile for the 2,745 miles that it is, if I could get 1 cent per mile from 1,000 people, I could raise $27,450 for those two charities to be split up between the two. And I sent it out on my emailing list to a bunch of people and a bunch of friends, and the response has been outstanding. I just can't believe how great it's been. To date, I think we've raised, as a group, and I call it my Tour Divide team, we've raised almost $20,000. We're closing in on $20,000 right now. And
what? I mean, that's not much per person. That's like $27.
Yeah, $27.45. If really any amount is great, because it's all 100% of everything that's raised is going to charity.
Great. Well, hopefully we can help you do that. So, what kind of training are you going to have to do to accomplish this?
Well, it's I've been doing most of my rides on weekends, 5-6 hour mountain bike rides throughout the winter, over the last 2 or 3 months anyway, and since I made the commitment to do it. And of late, I've just taken a leave of absence as of April 1st from my teaching job so that I can get on the bike 5-6 days a week for anywhere from 6 hours to 8 hours at a time on different terrain, just cycling.
Wow, so you're taking a lot of personal sacrifices to accomplish this.
Yeah, it was a difficult decision, but really difficult decision, I guess, more so personal financial-wise, but it was something that I really felt strongly about, and not only my personal commitment, but doing this for the charities as well. And I can sacrifice 3 or 4 months of income to help improve someone else's life.
That's a really respectful endeavor for sure. For my next question, I must ask, have you ever, at any time since you decided to do this, wonder if you're a little bit over your head?
Yeah, when I do the research and I read some of the blogs of the people that have done it before me, and seeing the terrain, the weather, the fear factor, I guess, being out there amongst the animals, and it is grizzly bear country and mountain lion country, and with hundreds of miles in between the next outpost, if you want to call it that. Plus the fear of something going wrong with your mountain bike, or whether it be a mechanical breakdown or personally a physical breakdown or an injury. Those are all concerns that weigh on you a little bit, but ultimately you expect to do well, and I expect to complete it.
Mm-hmm. So how many take part in something like this?
There's only about 200 people, I think, that do it, if that many. And once you start, everybody's on their own pace, their own agenda, and they have different goals and different reasons for doing it. And there's not a water station. There's you carry what's called a spot tracker, spot navigation, which sends signals to a website so people can actually track me going along the way by a little dot.
Oh, wow.
And they can follow all the other racers as well. And other than that, that's the only support you get. And you have to be pretty diligent and be safe and be smart in order to survive.
So what keeps you motivated when you think of these hurdles that you're going to have to overcome?
Well, I guess it's important to me to be physically active, number one. I'm motivated to be in better physical condition, even at my age of 47. The other thing is I find very motivating is, I guess, twofold: the challenge and the people that have gotten behind me to do this event through support, financial support, and just basic encouragement. That's one of the other reasons that I wanted to do it as well with the charities, because it spurs me on to achieve success, with those guys behind me.
Absolutely. And let me ask you, these two charities that you chose, Children's Wish Foundation and Autism Nova Scotia, why these two charities? Do they have any personal significance to you?
Well, Children's Wish, I certainly appreciate what they do for children that are facing life-threatening illness. And, there's a young man in Cole Harbour here that was playing on my son's hockey team that was supported through the Children's Wish Foundation recently over the last couple of years. And I saw the good things it did for him. And so personal spot, I guess that's a personal thing for me. But Autism Nova Scotia, I have 3 friends that have autistic, 2 have autistic children, and one friend's daughter passed away, unfortunately, volunteering with autistic children in Africa. So I figured it was a worthy cause and something I could do sort of in their family's name, and out of appreciation for the support they've given me over the last number of years.
Well, it's really admirable for you to do something like this, and for those charities. So how long will it take you to complete this race once you're in Banff, Alberta starting?
Well, my goal right now is to do it in 25 straight days, doing anywhere between 100 to 120 miles a day. But, it's a long distance. If I can go straight 25 days doing over 100 miles a day, I'll finish it when I expect to.
So that length, how long will you be biking each day?
Well, the plan is to get up at sunrise. Probably from what I've read in the mountains, there'll be frost on the ground, sometimes snow. Get up at sunrise, pack my single-man tent up. It's all ultralight. Just whip it onto the bike and get biking. And my guess is it'll be anywhere between 10 and 12-hour days on the bike.
Okay, so being a phys ed teacher with the Halifax Regional School Board, are you hoping to teach or motivate students in any way by doing this?
Well, it's one of the toughest things was taking the leave of absence from Astral Drive, and my kids there were certainly aware of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and some of them have even donated, which I'm half embarrassed about because they're just kids. But I think it's important to motivate your students in different ways, and by stretching my limits in this way, I think they can learn that there's things you can do not only personally, but there's things you can do for your community. And in support of others, and hopefully they'll get the message.
So I just want to thank you very much on behalf of myself and Seaside FM for joining us.
Well, I really appreciate being on, and it's pretty exciting, and I hope your listeners follow along.
Great. I can't wait to follow your little dot as it goes around the map.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And for those of you that are listening and want to follow along during Brad's Tour Divide bike ride, or you want to make a donation, you can do so by going to seasidefm.com or calling us at